There is a specific kind of silence that falls over a dinner table when someone says something they cannot take back. Not the silence of an awkward moment. Not the silence of a misunderstanding. The silence of a room full of people who all heard exactly what was said, and nobody knows what to do next. I know that silence. I sat inside it on a Thursday evening in November, with a plate of food in front of me and 22 years of my son's life running through my head. My name is Frank Colton. I am 61 years old. I have worked with my hands my entire adult life, built something from nothing, and never once asked anyone for credit I didn't earn. My son Marcus stood at the head of his own Thanksgiving table, wineglass in hand, looked directly at me, and said, in front of his wife, her parents, and my 2 grandchildren, that I was, quote, the most embarrassing thing he had ever had to explain to people. He laughed after he said it. Like it was a joke. The table went very quiet. I picked up my fork. I kept eating. I did not say a single word. And Marcus, watching me not react, smiled at the room like he had made his point. He had no idea that 12 hours later, a lawyer named Gerald Marsh would be calling his cell phone with information that would rearrange his understanding of every conversation we had ever had. Welcome to Proven Right. Get comfortable. The people in these stories had every chance to do the right thing. They just chose wrong. Subscribe, hit the bell, drop a comment, and stay with me. Because where this goes, you are not going to see coming. I want to be honest with you about something. I am not a flashy man. I drive a 2012 pickup truck. Dark green. 140,000 miles. I own 4 shirts I rotate through the week. My son Marcus has been embarrassed by both of those facts for the better part of a decade. I built Colton Industrial Supply starting in 1997. At 34, I had a 1-room office, a leased van, and 3 clients in the Memphis metro area. My wife Patricia used to answer the phones from our kitchen table on Saturdays so I could be in 2 places at once. She passed away 7 years ago. Heart attack. No warning. A Tuesday morning in April. I kept the business going because that was what she would have expected. And because the alternative was sitting still, and I have never been good at sitting still. By 40, Colton Industrial was operating in 4 states. By 50, 8. By the time Marcus stood up at that Thanksgiving table with his wineglass and his rehearsed contempt, Colton Industrial employed just over 1,000 people, held supply contracts with 14 regional manufacturers, and generated annual revenue that would completely rearrange your understanding of a man in a 12-year-old truck. Marcus had never once asked me what the business actually did. He asked once, when he was in his 20s, what I made. I told him enough. He filed that away and never came back to it. That was his mistake. Not the only one. But the first one worth noting. I want to be fair to my son. That matters to me. Even now. Marcus is not a bad man. He is a man who grew up comfortable, got used to comfort, and somewhere along the way confused comfort with correctness. He works in corporate consulting. Good salary, good address, good car, good at telling a room what it wants to hear. He married a woman named Diane, whose father is a physician and whose family has the particular ease that comes from 3 generations of not worrying about money. I like Diane. I want to be clear about that. Diane is warm, smart, and has been quietly uncomfortable with how Marcus treats me for longer than Marcus realizes. I noticed. I said nothing. The grandchildren are 8 and 5. Thomas and Lily. Best part of every visit. Over the years, I watched Marcus arrange himself around Diane's family. The way he talked to her father, the way he laughed at his jokes, the way he leaned in when Gerald, Diane's father, told stories from his career. And then the way he talked to me. Short sentences. Quick subject changes. The voice people use when they want a conversation to end. I told myself it was the generation. I told myself it was the distance between how he grew up and how I grew up. I told myself a lot of things. Then came Thanksgiving. The dinner was at Marcus and Diane's house. November. A Thursday. I drove up from Memphis. 4 hours. I brought 2 things, a pie Patricia used to make every year, and a document I had been carrying in my jacket pocket since the Tuesday before. More on that in a moment. Dinner was fine at first. Good food, good noise, the grandchildren running between rooms. I sat next to Thomas, who is 8 and wants to talk about trucks constantly. I am comfortable with that topic. The trouble started around the second glass of wine. Marcus was telling a story about a client presentation. Good story, well told. Then somehow the subject turned to the Memphis real estate market. Then to property investments. Then Gerald asked me what I thought about the industrial corridor south of the city. I told him what I knew. Which, it turned out, was quite a lot. I watched Marcus's face shift. The slight tightening around the jaw. The way he refilled his wine without looking at the glass. I kept talking to Gerald, because Gerald was asking good questions. Then Marcus set his glass down. He said, and I am going to quote this exactly, because these were his words, not my interpretation of them. "Dad, please. You don't need to hold the whole table with your stories. Not everyone finds Memphis industrial zoning as fascinating as you do." He smiled at the room. Light, practiced, the smile of a man who has done this before. I looked at him. Then I looked at my food. Then I picked up my fork and kept eating. Gerald said something to redirect the conversation. Diane looked at her plate. And Marcus, watching me absorb it without reaction, lifted his glass again, satisfied. I ate my dinner. I helped clear the table. I played trucks with Thomas for 45 minutes after dessert. I hugged my grandchildren. I said goodnight to Diane, who held on a moment longer than usual. I shook Gerald's hand. And I drove out of that driveway at 9:17 p.m. 4 hours back to Memphis. Radio off. Thinking. If you've been with us this long, take 1 second, hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell. We put out new stories every single week. Now. Back to Frank. Let me tell you about the document in my jacket pocket. The Tuesday before Thanksgiving, I had a meeting with my attorney, Gerald Marsh. Not Diane's father Gerald. My Gerald. Different man entirely. We had been through some things together, Gerald Marsh and I. He handled Patricia's estate. He handled the Colton Industrial Incorporation back in 1997. He has been the kind of attorney you keep because you trust him, not just because he is good at the work. On that Tuesday, we finalized something I had been thinking about for 2 years. A full restructuring of the Colton Industrial Ownership documentation. I had 3 children, Marcus, my oldest. My daughter Renee, who lives in Nashville, runs her own interior design firm, and calls me every Sunday without exception. And my youngest, Daniel, who joined Colton Industrial 9 years ago, worked up from the loading dock, and now serves as my VP of Operations. The document Gerald and I finalized on Tuesday established the succession plan for Colton Industrial in complete detail. Controlling interest, in the event of my retirement or death, passed to Daniel and Renee jointly. Marcus received a cash distribution, a fair one, reflecting his years of family membership in a company he had never once expressed interest in. Not a bad outcome for someone who had never asked a single question about the business. But not the outcome Marcus had assumed was coming. And on Thanksgiving, sitting at that table, I had the signed and notarized document in my jacket pocket. I had not planned to say anything about it that evening. I still don't think I made the wrong call. But Gerald Marsh had left me a voicemail that afternoon. He had, as required by the new succession documentation, formally notified all named parties of their standing. which meant Marcus had received an official letter from Gerald Marsh's office that week. He had not opened it yet. He would, Friday morning that I was home by 1:30 in the morning. I made coffee. I sat at the kitchen table where Patricia and I used to go over invoices together on Sunday nights. I didn't feel angry. I want to be clear about that. I had moved past angry somewhere around hour 2 of the drive. What I felt was something quieter. The specific tiredness that comes from carrying patients for a very long time. I went to bed at 2. At 9:15 Friday morning, my phone rang. Marcus. I picked up on the second ring. He was not yelling. I want to give him credit for that. His voice was controlled, which told me he had been sitting with the letter for a while before he called. He said, "Dad. I got something from Gerald Marsh." "I know. You cut me out." "I didn't cut you out, Marcus. I made a decision about the business based on the people who chose to be part of it." Silence. "You could have told me." "I'm telling you now. That's not what I mean." "I know what you mean." Another silence. Longer. Then he said, quieter, "Last night, what I said at dinner." "Marcus." He stopped. "I'm not interested in an apology that only exists because of a letter from a lawyer." Silence. "When you have something real to say, call me back." I hung up. Marcus called back 6 days later. Not with an apology that existed because of the lawyer. With something closer to the truth. He said, "I've been thinking about why I do that. At dinners, around certain people. The way I talk to you. I listened. I think I've been embarrassed for the wrong reasons, for a long time. I let that sit. I'm not asking you to change the documents," he said. "That's not why I'm calling." "I know," I said. "I just wanted to say that last Thursday was the worst version of myself. And you ate your dinner and drove 4 hours home and didn't say a word about it. I had time to think on the drive." "What did you think about?" "About how long patience takes," I said. "And whether it's worth it." He was quiet. "Is it?" he asked. "Ask me again in a year," I said. "We have spoken 4 times since then." Carefully. Honestly. Not perfectly. These things don't fix in 6 days, or 6 months. But they fix. If both people decide they want them to. That part is still being decided. Here is what I know. I did not build what I built to impress my son. I built it because Patricia believed I could, and I was not willing to prove her wrong. I did not restructure the succession documents out of revenge. I did it because the business belongs to the people who chose it. And I did not drive home in silence on Thanksgiving night because I had nothing to say. I drove in silence because some things deserve more than a dinner table. They deserve a phone call. On the right day. When both people are ready to mean what they say. I'm still waiting to find out if that day is coming. I think it might be. Thank you for being here. If this story reached something real in you, leave a comment. We read every single one. Hit the like, share it with someone who needs it, subscribe if you haven't. And we will see you in the next one.